Live?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know. So. Here, do you want this? Mm-hmm. No, there's no rhyme or reason that I know of. Hmm?
You didn't turn off the bouncing house? Hang up there.
Bella's coming. Brutus, come here. Bella, gonna get your bone.
What?
He came running back to his bed because Bella was gonna get his bone.
Bella, you leave it bone.
Mm-hmm. Are you live on TikTok?
Yeah, for a lot of everybody.
I'm gonna timer for 54 minutes. So.
There's a timer already ready for you to start.
Where?
Kitchen table.
Well, then hit it if you started your TikTok, baby. Good.
Yeah. There it is. All right. Check 1, 2. Welcome, everybody. Check TikTok real quick. All right, good deal. Thanks for joining. Here we are, talking Rife, episode 4. Tonight we are going to be discussing a whole lot about Rife machines. This is the Electromedics Nomad Rife machine. It's going to keep it here. You can't really see it. I'll keep it back up there. There we go. I kind of see that. I know the first couple episodes we've had a lot going on politically, and we were discussing a lot of what's going on with Charlie Kirk, happened to Erna. That was a young Ukrainian woman who was stabbed on a public transport system in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then the fallout and the revelations and what that means for us as a society. It's not good. But we are going to switch gears tonight. I will get back into the Charlie Kirk thing. It does seem like a very big story worldwide right now. There are protests and vigils happening worldwide. This is not just confined to the United States. It is a shot heard around the world, if you will. You have an entire political spectrum cheering for people being shot because they have a difference of opinion of their own. And the world is not okay with that. They are disgusted by it, and they are actively protesting and cheering against it. And so we're going to watch those. We're going to continue to watch the fallout, and we'll get back to you with an update on that. It does seem like the right has, wasted no time politicizing Charlie Kirk's death. Saw today Trump was sending military to Memphis, Tennessee now. So, once again, it's like, we have something tragic happen. Let's exploit it for what we want. I don't think that the military on the streets of American cities is a good idea in almost any circumstances, certainly the circumstances we have right now. Today, they use military on the streets of America to arrest drug traffickers and thugs and gangbangers. Tomorrow, they will use the military to silence opposition. It is a very, very short duration from one to the other, much like the LGBTQ movement. It was not very far from let us get married. What we do in our own home is our own business, to let this giant 42-year-old male in women's stripper clothing present dildos to your children at elementary schools. It was a very, very short gap. And it will be a very, very short gap using military for gangbangers, thugs, and cartels on the streets of America to silencing opposition. It's already happened. We already saw it with the Biden regime and the way he used the FBI to target rightists. Thank you, Caitlin, checking in on us, letting us know sound is good on YouTube. If we have any sound problems, please feel free to comment. But anyway, so we will watch all of that. We will get back into that after we have some more of the fallout and see what everybody's going to do. I think that's what everybody is just kind of watching worldwide right now is what is everybody going to do? Because the bottom line is it's not okay to cheer for people to be shot that have a difference of opinion of you. That is a dark, dark place to be, and the world is not having it. So into Rife machines. I've kind of talked about them a little bit on the shows, and we wanted to really have an episode diving into that. We have had a ton of people. Sorry, I'm just going to check TikTok real quick, make sure sound is good. Everybody on TikTok, if you have any sound issues, just please let us know. All right. So we have had tons of people reaching out about Rife machines, about what their capabilities are, what can you use them for, how effective are you, what are the results, have people used it for this or that, and everything else. So I was like, man, that's awesome. Like, it is awesome. We are catching a lot of traction. The thing I want to start out by saying is the number one people buying Electromedics Rife machines are doctors, neurological surgeons, nurse practitioners, and nurses and chiropractors. Like, they are in the medical field. They are familiar with this technology. They're familiar with this technology because whenever they take their children or themselves to the hospital for, let's say, a car accident, a broken bone, or surgery, you name it, they know that there are doctors in practice using different types of devices like TENS units, microcurrent, EMFs, PEMF, and different devices like that to accelerate healing. And they know that. And so they are going to the doctor and they are directly requesting doctors that practice with things like that. This doesn't mean that you go to the orthopedic, you got a broke arm, and he doesn't put a cast on it. It's not, it doesn't work that way. But instead of having a cast for 4 weeks and coming back and having to have x-rays and your arm's real weak and not doing good, you can limit the amount of time that a cast is on you. Your bone will grow back much quicker. You can have the cast removed quicker. And then your physical therapy, when you come out of the cast, is a lot quicker, and it helps you a lot. And nurses and nurse practitioners and doctors and neurological scientists and surgeons and chiropractors and everybody, they're using these things. So when you go have a back surgery for degenerated disc or herniated disc or nerve pain or whatever it is, or they're doing nerve blocks, whatever, they're sending you home with some form of frequency device that helps with the pain, helps with the healing, helps with all this stuff. So I just want everybody to know, you're skeptical. Doctors, chiropractors, they literally hit us up and they are using it under the table. They're like, well, I have to be careful about, what I associate myself with and different things like that. But I like using it and I like recommending people use it. But it's not something that I like to, air out and all of this different stuff. Why? Because it's under attack. Why is it under attack? It's never hurt anybody. There's only a handful of people even buy them from in the entire world. We have people buy them from the UK, Canada, Australia was a big one. We have people buy this from all over. Why? You know what they pay in, oh God, what is that called? Whenever you get an electronic shipped, it's not a tariff, but it's like a tariff. It's like the shipping and handling going through customs. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart right now. My wife would know if she was in here. But anyways, they're paying, 30, 40, even up to 300% what the machine costs just to get it through customs. So just understand, while you're skeptical about how this can help you, if you have pain, immobility, or any type of symptom that is causing you to lose large parts of your life or hindering you from being able to live your life from the fullest, and there's nothing modern medicine can do, I am telling you now, your skepticism is the only thing holding you back. Try a Rife machine. You have nothing to lose. 30 days. Give it 30 days with a solid, strict frequency schedule. And then report back to me and tell me that it did not change your life, because I promise you it will. If you are living with any kind of immobilizing pain, any kind of immobilizing muscle situation, nerve pain, joint pain, arthritis, and it is hindering you, I promise you, a Rife machine can be supplemental to whatever you're already using. That means you don't have to stop the regimen you're already on, and I guarantee you it will excel the results of what you're already doing. And it will absolutely change your life. It will get you to that life-changing point of being able to do things you weren't able to do because of the immobilizing pain or range of motion or whatever it may be. I just had someone come down. I think I told this story a little bit in the video I did, but basically they had one of our prototypes. It was an early on machine. They're close to me. They could not afford to buy a machine outright. I knew that, but I really wanted them to use one of our clinical grade Rife machines on their symptoms. And they have been using it for a few years now. And I guess about a month ago, the machine had broke. It was a prototype. We expected it, it wouldn't even last as long as it did. But they were able to use it for a very long time, multiple years. And they were using the machine for fibromyalgia. And I mean, when I say they had immobilizing pain for fibromyalgia, I mean, when they came to me, they were in a wheelchair. They virtually could not walk. They could stand. They might be able to move around their home a little bit, but they were virtually in a wheelchair. After 2 weeks of using the machine, they were walking. walking without a cane, walking upstairs. I mean, 1 foot after another, not the little like one step at a time. I mean, 1 foot after another. And they were going upstairs. And that was after 2 weeks of use. So they used that machine for a couple of years, using it as supplementary maintenance, different things like that. That machine goes down. That prototype from Electromedics goes down, and they no longer have that machine for only 30 days. And they started regressing a lot. And they were on the verge of going back to a wheelchair. And so basically they called me up and they're like, hey, I'm going to come buy one of your machines. And I did everything I could to help them because I know it wasn't the most affordable thing for them. Unfortunately, I do not have the funds to just give people machines. I would love to do that. I try to work with charities and other nonprofit organizations to get these to people that need them the most, that can't afford them. I really wish that I had, the support of insurance companies, the VA, Medicaid, Medicare, and different things like that, that would help me put these into the people's homes, that would keep them out of the hospital, keep them off of so many pharmaceuticals, that would literally save these insurance companies money. It helps save them money. It's not that it replaces medication. It doesn't replace surgery. It doesn't replace anything. It is supplemental. It helps keep you going. It helps work with the stuff you're already on. Anyway, so this person says, I'm going to buy one of these machines for you. And I knew they didn't really have the money. And they were like, hey, for one, I want to support what you're doing. You changed my life. Number two, I'm either going to give this money to you, or I'm immediately going to have to go give it to a surgeon to do a nerve block or some type of surgery, or I'm going back to a wheelchair. They're like, that's my 3 options. You are my 4th option. You are my life saving. I know your machine works. It's the only thing that makes me feel comfortable and helps me sleep and gets me through the day. And they're like, I would choose your machine any day of the week over more medication, over surgery, over nerve blocks, definitely over a wheelchair. Wheelchair doesn't help the pain. It just helps you get around. And you lay there at night in agony. And they're like, your machine beats the pain. It helps me get rid of the pain. It helps me move. It keeps me walking. So they couldn't even wait for me to ship it. They're like, I'm driving up to where you are. They were from Fort Myers. It's about 10 hours away. And they drove up and got one. They're at your earliest convenience. They're like, when can I be there? And I will pick one up. And they drove up here and got a machine from me. And of course, we set them up with a good frequency schedule, one that's hopefully a lot more powerful, that will allow them to use the machine a lot less as they get their body back to a maintenance schedule instead of a healing schedule. And we are going to monitor them and hopefully get them on an even better frequency schedule in the future. But just an incredible story. We were really just almost in tears at like, man, like, the way these things can help people and the way they can change. They were almost in tears. It's because like when you can change lives like that, it ain't even about healing you 100%. Like I have seen many, many cases where people use the Rife machine for something and they're like 100% healed me. I am better. I give all of my thanks and glory to a Rife machine. But there are some people out there that suffer with extreme diseases, neurological problems, addiction, nerve pain, degenerated disc, bone on bone, all these different things that cause extreme pain. And it's like it literally steals parts of your life away. Like you're not allowed to hunt. There is no boating and jarring up and down. If you can even climb on and off the boat, there's no walking around and going with your grandchildren to the zoo or to like some fun event. It takes away so much. And it's the first thing that comes to your mind when someone's like, oh, you want to do this? Like you really want to, and you're excited, but then it's just like, I know I'm going to be in for a lot of pain. Like I'm going to have somewhere to sit down. Like we can't park far away. If I need to get out quickly, I need to be able to leave. Like there's just all these things, doubts start going through your head. And you're like, I'd rather just not deal with it. I would rather miss out than to have to go through the inconvenience of being in so much terrible pain. And that is what a Rife machine can do for you, is it can take away that worry. It can give you a back part of that life. My own story was not being able to do a lot and considering having to leave my career, which was construction at the time. because I could not risk falling off a ladder. I was having back pain, and I mean, it was pretty immobilizing, but there would just be times where I would just turn wrong or just like sway wrong or whatever. And I would hit that nerve and it would shoot a pain through what felt like my whole body. My whole body would just tense up and I would collapse sometimes. And I was just like, man, if that happens on the ladder when I'm 6, 15, 30 feet off the ground, I was just like, I'm done for. And then what's my family going to do? How am I supposed to provide for my family? And that's how I found a Rife machine. That's how I started using a Rife machine, and it changed my life. That's how I became so passionate about Rife machines. Now, I built these. I designed and developed these by working with the Rife family. Dr. Royal Raymond Rife himself and his descendants are who I worked with to build these Rife machines. This is the Electromedics Nomad Rife machine. We have our clinical grade. This is more of like our Nomad, our Voyager. You can travel around with it. It's battery powered, rechargeable, of course. Clinical grade, plugs into a wall, very strong, very powerful for those very severe, extreme cases. And then, of course, we still have our traveler, whatever you want to call it. We need to name it something else because it's more of like an expedition Rife machine. Like if you're going backpacking, it's realistic to like have camping with you, backpacking, things like that, where space and weight is extremely crucial. You're traveling with a car, airplane, hotel, whatever, this is easily travels with you. Very easy. You can see it's not that big at all. It fits right in. It has a great little carrying case with it. So you can fit other items in the case. It has like little pockets for, if you're on supplements or whatever other health routines you have, like most of the small ones can fit in there with it. Then you have one case that carries everything with it, including your little Rife machine. But if you are going hiking, it's the travel machine is obviously going to be the only thing that's realistic whenever you can afford to sacrifice is maybe a pocket in your pants or something like that. So that is the different levels of Rife machine. That is how they can help you in incredible ways. Some other things that we've seen that I had a guy reach out with a comment here recently asking me about how well it did with addiction. And I was explaining to him, like when it comes to addiction, anxiety, depression, mental trauma, PTSD, because all of those things, if you suffer from addiction, I'm not saying you have PTSD. Sometimes they overlap. Just like if you are suffering from PTSD, I'm not saying you have addiction problems, but the frequencies that heal the parts of our brains that often cause that mental trauma, depression, anxiety, addiction, they're related. They all come from the same parts of our brains, and the frequencies we use to help promote that in our body so that we can overcome that. Bella, get in here. You see my security team's on high alert here. You guys want to see them? My two big babies. I got two big old giant King Corsos. They're about 120 pounds apiece. They like to sit down here with me while I do my podcast. I don't know what's got her all barking, but anyways, I'll always try. Hey, they'll chill out. All right, so that's the different levels of Rife machines, and the addiction thing. That part of your brain and frequencies are all very common in the different frequency playlists that we use to help your body heal from all of those different things. So, incredible stories. The people that have used it for mental trauma, depression, anxiety, and addiction, incredible stories, incredible feedback, life-changing feedback for those people that reported back to us. A lot of times people get these and we will ask, what they're interested in using it for, if they would like us to help them set up a frequency schedule. Again, super important for it to be effective, but we don't always have people that want that help. They want to take the machine, they want to explore by themselves. And we absolutely encourage that. It's that hands-on exploration that you really fine tune it for your body, because everybody's body is different. And what works for one person might not work for another. The same thing you see in modern day medicine and everything else. So there's some people who are like, they like going to the clinic. They've went to the clinic so many times and used an Electromedics clinical grade Rife machine. They could have bought the machine 5 times over, but they're like, I like going to the clinic. I like the nurses, the practitioners, for them to administer my frequency schedule and keep me with specific dates and times. And they're like, it helps me stick to a schedule. I know it's being done right. They oversee it. It makes them feel comfortable, and it makes them feel like it's working in its most efficient form and its strongest. They're going to get the strongest results from it. And that's great too. We absolutely welcome that. I wish I had these in clinics all over the country. That's what I'm hoping you guys will all help me do, because that's what we need for those that can't afford to buy one and put them in their home. Well, they can afford a gym membership, $30 a month, and they can go to the clinic and use it multiple times a week for $30 a month, or however much some of these places charge. And some of them charge just per use. It's different clinic to clinic, but I would just love to see them all over the country and people being able to have access to it. Because this person, skeptical when they came to that clinic just for the Rife machine because they heard about it, used it, came back. They gave it they gave it like 2 weeks. They're like, I'm going to come here 3 days this week, 3 days next week. It's like, I've promised myself I'll use it at least that much. When I heard about this person's interest in the Rife machine, obviously I went up to the clinic to talk to him about it because I was excited that someone was coming in to use it for what he was using it for. And I had talked to him about it, and he was very excited to try this. Nothing else was working. Once again, how often do I have one of those stories come to me that nothing else is working? The modern doctors are leaving me out to dry. I am suffering from incredible pain. I'm praying this works for me. And so they started using it. And I bet he was sold after the first week. And then I saw him several months later up there. We were shooting some video, and he happened to just come to the clinic that day to use the Rife machine. And I got to talk to him again, and he was already using the Rife machine for the next thing because he was like, it helped my symptoms so much. And I was so excited about it. It was so powerful for what I was coming in here for that now I'm using it for the next thing. I'm really hoping it can help me from that. Now, I'm not at liberty to say what he was using it for, but it was some pretty heavy stuff. So that is awesome that he's used it, he's seen good results, and he's going to let me know his doctor results on the next things. I'll ask him about sharing his story. I'm sure he will not have a problem with it. He was happy to share his story on video that day, and the future story that is coming out is going to be incredible. So we are like really excited about this. Just another major step forward of documented proof of like this was the Rife machine that did this for me. By a doctor at that. He's getting test results from the doctor. Another thing I saw, I'll go into this story, then I'm gonna go into how it works. I think that'll be pretty fair, about half and half. Another story, kidney stones, man. Like, how many people feel left behind? Give me a like if you feel left behind. If you suffer from kidney stones, you have your whole life, and it's like, how do the doctors help you? They may give you something that may help you pass it. It doesn't work for a lot of people. And what's the very next thing they give you? Very, very strong pain medicine, oftentimes Dilaudid, one of the most dangerous drugs in the pharmaceutical industry. All right. If fentanyl wasn't way up there, Dilaudid would be. And that's the things they prescribe people trying to pass kidney stones, like young people, kids even. A Rife machine, I've had stories of a Rife machine of where someone used it. They suffered from passing kidney stones, and basically same story. The doctors could never do anything. They may give them something that helps them pass it, whatever type of, I don't even think it's a medicine, but it's like a drink that like does something inside your body. I'm sure it's not super safe. I'm sure it's not something you want to drink all the time. So, its side effects it does have side effects, for lack of a better word. Let's just say that. And y'all ain't going to believe this. I've had a cyst growing on the back of my hand. Like right here. It was very small. It hasn't given me any problems, but I mean, it was always a bump there. I could always feel it. And I'm sitting here talking, getting passionate, and I bumped that cyst on the corner of the Rife machine right here. I mean, it's not sharp, but it's a corner. I mean, it's it's a corner, and I'm sitting here waving my hands around. I pop that cyst right there on it. I don't know if you guys can see it. Like you said, that dark spot is like a little bit of a bruise. That's how hard I hit it, guys. I think it popped that cyst. It was right on top of it. Oh man. Anyway, so anyways, yeah. So like, it's kidney stones, very serious. There's not much modern day doctors and medicines and things can do for you. What they do is they give you pain medicine to help comfort you while you try to pass something that's often, not everybody, but oftentimes extremely painful to pass. And we had someone use a Rife machine for it. They were starting to get a kidney stone. They had been to the doctor. They were like, yep, you got a kidney stone form. It's not loose yet. It's going to break loose. We're going to give you this. You try it. Hopefully it'll help you pass it. And we'll prescribe you some pain medicine, the whole blah, 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 normal routine. Well, they come and use the Rife machine twice. And according to their feedback, it dissolved it and they passed it. No problems. No pain. What was reported back to me was really cloudy urine, that they were like, they felt relief. They couldn't feel the kidney stone in there anymore. And they had noticed when they went to the bathroom, it was super cloudy. And then that was it. That was the last I heard from them. I have reached out for follow-up, haven't gotten it. So that is, that's just how it comes to us sometimes, in feedback and stories. We certainly don't harass people for feedback, but I do try to follow up. And that was the last I'd heard from it. Super exciting story. The way that could help people in a major way. Anybody who deals with kidney stones would know what I was talking about. So, all right, I'm going to stop there. I've went over a lot of just incredible stories that have happened here lately about people using Electromedics Rife machines and having absolutely incredible results with them to the point that it's just like, nope, we can't live without this machine, which is, I mean, a lot of stories I hear, people use these machines and they're like, I would not trade anything for this machine. They're like, outside of my children, this is the first thing that I am taking with me no matter what. They're like, we can't live without our Rife machine. So including the doctors, the nurse practitioners, the chiropractors, the electrical engineers, all of those people that use our machines, neurological surgeons, they love them. And so let's go into how does it work? Why? Let's start by this. Why is frequency the language of life, the language of healing in life? It truly is. So let me try, and this is all very researchable. I will try to stay on topic and only talk about things that are extremely researchable. And when I say that, I mean, you can Google it. You can Google what I say and you can be like, oh, there was a study done by doctors and researchers. Like, oh, there was a experiment done, peer-reviewed study. Oh, they actually did test this. NASA tested it and did this. Like, so I will try to stay there. But why is frequency the language of life? And when I say frequency, I mean electromagnetic field frequency. And that is because everything on the planet has an electromagnetic field. It also has its own electromagnetic field at a specific frequency, whether they're animals, humans, grass, trees, the planet, the Schumann resonance. For those of you who don't know what the Schumann resonance is, that is the electromagnetic field of the planet and the frequency that it's at. It's at 7.86. You can Google it. To go right from that, you can also Google a horse has 5 times the electromagnetic field of a human being. And it has been scientifically proven that a horse's electromagnetic field does interact with the human body. And it is at the frequency that, what we were just talking about earlier, that works on the part of your brain that helps with depression, anxiety, and serotonin. That's why when you take someone who's been around horses for their entire life, I mean, on a daily basis, they spend time around horses, riding them, caring for them, petting them, cleaning them, all of that stuff. And you take them away from a horse for like days or a week, they become extremely sad. I mean, I'm not saying they're depressed and they're like, oh, I'm going to go kill myself. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you could tell they're just thinking about their horse. They feel kind of sad. They're like not really excited to do anything. They will go still do it. They will still go have a good time, but they're like, I'm just ready to get home and be with my horse. And the moment they get home, the first thing they do is they run out into the barn and they just sit there and they just hug their horse for like 15, 20 minutes. And I'm not saying they do not have an emotional bond with their horse. Obviously they do. And obviously that is very powerful. And when you have an emotional bond with anything, you obviously get sad when you're away from it. But it is also scientifically proven that taking you away from that electromagnetic field frequency affects your body. And when you are back in it, you feel an immediate sense of serenity, of calmness, peace. And it's like that with anything. It's like people will go out into the woods, and I mean, like, not your backyard that's got pesticides and is cut with a lawnmower and stuff like that. When I say the woods, I mean nature. Like, it's not really touched by man. It's not sprayed with pesticides. It doesn't have garbage everywhere. Like, things grow naturally there. And they will go out to the woods and they will go barefooted with limited clothing, often natural clothing like wool, silk, or cotton. And they will stand barefoot in there and hug a tree. And they believed, ancient cultures believed this, that it promoted healing. And they always felt they would go there if they were sick. That's where the term tree hugger came from. That's literally where the term tree hugger came from. Because there were people that actually went and hugged trees. And now it's just a derogatory form of a derogatory term that we call people we don't like that are hippies or nature or whatever. That live a different life than us. You know, it's a George Washington that said, savages we call them because their manners differ from their own. Well, they had learned from ancient cultures and Native Americans and things like that, that when you immerse your body in the natural electromagnetic field of certain plants, animals, trees, bodies of water, sand, dirt, that you can promote healing in the body. This is now proven by science. That is why frequencies are the language of life. That's why everybody goes to the beach. That's why you feel a sense of serenity at the beach. A beach vacation, take it from someone who lives at the beach. I question this myself. Why did we always go to the beach when we were younger? Why did we enjoy it so much? Why does everybody want to go to the beach? All you do is sit out there in the sun. You drink, oftentimes crappy beer or something else, and you just sit there all day. And you go back to the hotel and you're sunburnt. And then it's inconvenient. You eat bad food, and then it's like 8 hours drive home, 8 hours drive there. And it's like, how is that fun? How is that a vacation? And you go wait really long lines to get a drink, to get food, to whatever it is. It's like, how is that a vacation? Why is that fun? And it's like, nobody can tell you why, but everybody, including myself, I'm like, oh, let's go to the beach. I love being at the beach. Well, that is you interacting with the electromagnetic field of a large body of water, the ocean. Being next to the ocean promotes a sense of calmness, relaxation. Sand like that, putting your feet in the sand, grounding and getting sun. What does that do? And you're interacting with the electromagnetic field of the sand, and then the sun, you're grounding with the sand and with your feet in it, but then also the sun is coming down and that is helping you release serotonin. So ultimately what you're doing when you interact with these things is you're taking your body out of its fight or flight mode. That's where we find ourselves when we interact with tons of electronics, Wi-Fi routers, smart TVs, computers, iPads, phones, smart meters, cars, radios, all of this dirty signal and electromagnetic fields around us all the time. And then we worry about things like stress at work, dealing with terrible bosses, terrible coworkers, terrible politics, crime-ridden cities, debt, you name it. People are out there stressing like, I got to get an oil change on top of working 60 hours a week, coming home, cleaning my house, doing laundry, still being a family member, being a husband, a wife, or a father or a mother. I got to get my workout schedule in, but also I have to take a day off now because I got to take my car to the shop and they can't just come in and get me in and out. It's going to be like a 4-hour process, blah, 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 blah. And anyway, you're just always fight or flight, fight or flight, fight or flight. That's all you can think about all day long. You're just pumped up. You got all this stress around you. You're like, I just got to do all this stuff. But you never take your body out of it. Once you go to the beach, because people aren't often traveling out into the middle of the woods to hug a tree in bare feet. That's why a beach is your happy place. That's why it's peaceful to you. It's because you bring your body out of fight or flight. And you're like, those problems will be there when I get back. I'm at peace. I'm relaxing. I'm not worried about anything. And you know what your body does? It goes into a rest mode. You know, the only time your body can heal is when you are in a rest mode, a peaceful mode. You are telling your body you are at peace, you can rest, and you can heal. So how does a Rife machine fit in and all that? So Rife machines have taken those electromagnetic field frequencies. Software companies like Z-App, which is the app we use to run our Rife machines. It's the app we use to play the frequencies. They've done a ton of research on all these frequencies found in nature, and they put them in the app. And then they put them in the app with a playlist, a sequence of different frequencies that can talk to your body and tell it different things. One of the biggest things is like, hey, calm down, relax. You're out of fight or flight mode. Let's start healing. And then it uses those frequencies to tell it what to start healing. A lot of ways that they found you could do in nature. You ever hear about the fountain of youth? Well, it wasn't some fountain that you could go walk in and then suddenly you were young forever and it granted immortality. It was from ancient cultures that found these incredibly rare, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Hot springs way up in the mountains, surrounded by ancient rock. Rocks are one of the strongest transmitters of electromagnetic fields because of all the different minerals that are in them. So they can create very unique electromagnetic fields and electromagnetic field frequencies. And then they are transferring them to the water. And then you immerse your body in the water for an extended period of time. And you're receiving these frequencies and it's talking to your body and interacting with your body. And they found that those springs were very healing. Well, what ages us? Not healing. Damage. Sickness. So they were living longer. That's literally the regeneration of cells. When you fail to regenerate them, we get slower. Our bodies get slower and slower and slower at regenerating cells every year as we get older. When we're younger, it gets faster and faster and faster. And as you get older, it gets slower and slower and slower. That is aging. One of the greatest things about electromagnetic field frequencies, often found in nature, is that it would help you regenerate cells. That's how you heal. You need white blood cells and tissue and scar tissue to grow in places where you're wounded or cut or fractured or whatever it may be. Well, they have found a way to use those frequencies, to emit those frequencies from this device here, a device like this. There's a handful of them on the market, and it emits that electromagnetic field. It's like a globe. 360 degrees, comes out of the core of the coil, goes all around it, and then you just put your body. So if I had it right here beside me, I'd probably put it like right here if I was using it. Right here beside me doing my computer work. That's this one. I oftentimes use the bigger one. It's much stronger, much more powerful, and I'm all old and messed up, so I need the strong one. And I'm sitting in this electromagnetic field, and I'm using these frequencies to talk to my body, to stimulate tissue in my body, to oscillate cells in my body, and to regenerate them at tens of thousands of the rate as normal. That has been proven by NASA. They didn't even mean to prove that, but they did essentially a PMF and a microcurrent study. And anybody who wants to study, I can send it to them. It's very easy to look up, but they basically studied the effects that ELFs had on organic tissue. And what they found out from the first few pages of the study, if you read it, was that cell regeneration greatly increased when they were exposed to electromagnetic field frequencies. They used from 7 to 10, which is interesting because the Schumann resonance is 7.86. Of course, they were studying 7.86 because they were using PMF devices in the ISS because they found out that if you spent a long time on the ISS, you were getting sick 100% of the time. They didn't know what's going on. And then someone theorized, well, we're taking them outside of the electromagnetic field of the planet, the 7.86, and now their body's not interacting with it. And so they theorized that if they created an artificial 7.86 electromagnetic field frequency, that they wouldn't get sick anymore. And guess what? They didn't. And so they started studying these effects. And that was the big thing they came out with or found out in their study. They were like, okay, when we take these cells, we expose them to ELF, so they're in the exact same climate, the exact same controlled setting. One's exposed to ELFs, one's not. The results, tens of thousands of times the cell regeneration rate as the ones that weren't. The big thing that surprised them was the ones that were exposed to ELFs had 90% viability rate. The ones that weren't had 50% or less. Now, that was huge, because cell viability is the only thing that makes it usable to your body. So all of the cells you produce at any given minute, hour, second, day, whatever it is, you're generally getting to use only about half of them. And so being able to use 90% of them is huge. That's a huge change. And now you're also regenerating them at tens of thousands the rate. And it basically makes, like, in theory, that you're just going to like super heal yourself, especially when it comes to like wound healing or something like that. And so that is essentially, that was the NASA study. So back to the Rife machine. So it's emitting that electromagnetic field at specific frequencies that have been studied by these other software developers. Z-App, they have 1,400 different sequences for different ailments. And I mean, they have it alphabetically ordered. It's very easy to search, and you can search for headaches, nausea, inflammation, painful menstrual cycle, one my wife uses often. So if those seem to get the better of you, remember, a Rife machine would be your best friend. I guarantee if you tried it one time, you'd be like, worth every dime, because it is night and day difference. Anyway, so you can search for all those different things. They have all of those sequences. You don't have to try to figure out what frequency to play. All of that work's been done for you. Only thing you have to do is have the discipline to run it once a day. That's all you have to do. Or as needed with something like a menstrual cycle or something like that. It's a little bit different. There are a few things that are as needed. Generally, if you're trying to heal something, bone regeneration, nerve regeneration, cell regeneration, joint pain, arthritis, fluid, blah, 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 blah. That's generally going to be once every 24 hours, maybe once every 12 hours. But in the beginning, less is actually more. So that is why you are going to run it once every 24 hours. Create a good frequency schedule, stick to it. You will have incredible results, just like antibiotics. You get sent home with antibiotics for an infection, they have a schedule for you to take that antibiotics once every 12 hours, once every 8 hours, whatever it may be. And you stick to it if you want that antibiotics to be effective. Same thing with a Rife machine. Stick to it. Give it 10, 14 days, 21 days. A lot of antibiotics prescriptions are 7 to 10 days. You can do a Rife machine for 7 to 10 days as well. You will see the results. I guarantee you'll be like, nope, this is every day, all the time. And you will have absolutely incredible results with it when you use it correctly. If you don't use it correctly, you are taking away its potency. I'm not saying it won't have some effects or whatever on you. I'm just saying you're taking away its potency and its ability to work. You're pulling your body in too many directions, can't heal. It's the equivalent of if I was to take Lasix and then also drink hydration multiplier that was high in sodium. What am I doing? I'm pulling my body in two different directions. My body freaks out. It doesn't know what to do. For those of you that don't know what Lasix are, it is medicine the doctor gives you so that your body will discharge fluid because your body's holding fluid. So it's trying to get rid of fluid. All right. What does sodium do? What do hydration multipliers do? They tell your body to hold on to liquid. I'm trying to hydrate. I'm trying to not have you flush it out so quick just because you're hot and sweaty. So if you take both at the same time, you are doing an incredible disservice to your body. You're not harming it altogether. So that's why you careful what you use the Rife machine for. Do a very strict frequency schedule. Try to target one thing at a time after 14, 21, 30, 90 days, however long you run it. Do it for just the one thing. And then when you're done treating that, you move to the next thing. That's how using a Rife machine actually works. That's the most effective way to use a Rife machine. Just real quick, let me check TikTok, see if we have any questions on there. I know this is kind of a big one. I've been going. All right, we're looking pretty good there. Okay, so went over that part of it. So that was kind of creating a frequency schedule. I kind of skimmed over frequencies found in nature, the studies that were done. Again, a lot of that is very researchable. You can research the horse's electromagnetic field of plants, trees, different things like that. You can research the NASA study and what was done with it. You can research how far PMF and frequency devices have come. There are a lot of doctors. You'll find them a lot of times in chiropractor offices and orthopedic offices. Research it. You can Google that, find one near you. And if you got questions, talk to them about it. Be like, well, why do y'all use these? And they will tell you like, hey, this can help your bones heal much, much faster. They can help with joint pain or spinal pain or tissue pain or connective tissue pain, in incredible ways. Nerve pain in incredible ways. And that's why they use them. That's why they prescribe them to their patients. That's where we're trying to get. We are the next step. We are the next step. TENS units and PMF mats and everything that takes microcurrent or physical contact continuity. That is yesterday's technology. They are great for what they do, and they are incredible. And if you are using one, I encourage you to keep using it, spread the word about using it. But it is last year's technology. The new technology is contactless. So the biggest thing is it's much more powerful in the sense of the electromagnetic field and the currents that you are receiving. But the very big thing is that it's so much more versatile. It has tens of thousands, maybe more, frequencies that you can use to target different things in your body. A PMF mat usually comes with a handful of frequencies that are pre-selected. Same thing with a microcurrent, TENS unit, anything like that. It comes with pre-selected frequencies. You do not get to use the frequencies you want. You get to use the frequencies that they chose for you. With a Rife machine, you get to use any frequency that you choose to use. You get to do your own research, or you get to rely on Z-App's research. You can create your own playlist, or you can run the playlist they've created for whatever symptoms you're trying to target. PMF mats, they're very limited for general healing, nerve pain, sleep, anxiety. That, there's not a lot to choose from. Microcurrent is basically usually one to a handful of frequencies, and they are focused around pain and regeneration. That's it. Rife machines you can use for everything. Anxiety, mental trauma, detox, parasite detox, heavy metal detox, eczema, joint pain, inflammation, headaches, asthma, eczema. Like the list goes on and on and on. The versatility is what makes it so much more powerful, because you're not just playing one or two frequencies that are general healing or regenerative frequencies at a very low form and having it, hopefully your body will heal. No, you can use actual frequencies that send these signals to your nerves, and your nerve signals and the electricity or the electrical signals run through your nerves, and it will talk to your body and be like, hey, my elbow is fucked up. Like, go send stuff to heal my elbow. And then it's like your body is targeting your elbow, where that pain is coming from. And it's doing it in so much more of a powerful and unique way. The way so if you're using microcurrent, TENS, PMF, something that takes continuity, you're generally using microcurrent. It's very localized to wherever the contact is, paddles or PMF mat, wherever the contact is local to the continuity of the contact. You're limited on the frequencies, you're limited on the power, and then it is generally just stimulating the electrical signals in your body. With a Rife machine, you are actually stimulating the tissue, you're oscillating the cells, and then you're also talking to the electrical signals that are running through your nerves. And so it has an incredible way of getting your entire body to start working to heal together instead of just one form, like when you use something that takes continuity. So that is the power, that is the versatility of using a Rife machine or an electromagnetic field frequency generator. And if you do find another one, the importance is that they have a large software playlist. Like there should be hundreds of thousands of frequencies to choose from, and then they should have thousands and thousands of sequences to choose from. And because that's what makes a Rife machine so powerful, is its versatility and being able to use all of those different frequencies for all of the different ailments. You never know what it is. You get something because it's eczema. Well, the eczema is being caused by a yeast overgrowth. So you switch to a yeast overgrowth, and you're like, oh, well, the yeast overgrowth is because of an inflamed gut. And you're like, okay, well, now I got to switch over to an inflamed gut. And then it's like, well, none of those were helping. Why? Because the inflamed gut was caused from parasites. You do a detox, a parasite detox with the Rife machine, and you're like, wow, my eczema is 1,000 times better. That's incredible. So that versatility, the importance of the versatility, same thing when you have joint pain. You may think it's arthritis, and it might be heavy metal buildup. You need to do a heavy metal detox. There's all those different things. So that is the importance of the versatility. That is why the next generation of frequency devices have come out. And that is the original work of Dr. Rife himself. To go into that story, for those of you who don't know Dr. Rife, he is the one who invented the very first Rife machine. Dr. Royal Raymond Rife, again, you can look this up. He developed the microscope and was able to look at things with 11 times the magnification that had ever been seen before in the history of man. So he was able to observe things at a very, very high magnification. Well, from observing things at a high magnification, he was able to determine that every cell had its own oscillation rate. And he was like, well, he theorized, well, if I match that oscillation rate, that frequency, it's oscillating at a specific frequency. And if I match that frequency with an electromagnetic field, I bet that thing becomes extremely weakened or paralyzed altogether. And so he was like, well, I got to try this. And so he built a machine that could do that. And then he started doing research to figure out the oscillation rate of different cells. The one he was most curious with was cancer cells. This was in the 1920s. So he took 14 terminally ill cancer patients, stage 4 plus, and he put them through trials with his Rife machine. And it was a very short time later that he had completely cured their cancer using a Rife machine. His theory was correct. They had no side effects, and wasn't intrusive, no painful surgery, nothing, just the Rife machine, using sound and electromagnetic field frequencies to cure cancer. Well, the federal government got wind of this. They decided to break into his lab, destroy all the evidence, burn his lab down, confiscate all his research, and then bar him, threatened him with prison time. You are never allowed to work on this again. If you do, you will go to prison. So fast forward 100 years later, one of his descendants move in next door to me. He becomes my neighbor. And we start developing Rife machines together using research that survived. That is how I became the person who builds Rife machines today. And again, all of that is very researchable. You can look all of that up. The very importance of getting this technology out there is there are people out there that modern medicine has completely left behind. They leave you sick, in pain, immobile, and they just feed off of you like you're their milking cow of money. A Rife machine from Electromedics, one-time purchase, and it is good for life. There's no subscription. There's no nothing. Get the Rife machine, download the app. You pay for the Rife machine. The app is free to use, and you get to use that for the rest of your life. What is it? What is a hospital? What is a doctor? What is a pharmacy? That is literally weekly, monthly visits. Your entire life. I have family, very close family, that I've watched go through this. that have spent their lives from one doctor's visit to the next doctor, the next doctor, the next surgeon, the next pill to the next one. And they spent their entire lives trying to get better, only to get sicker, to get worse. And I had a Rife machine change my life. I have watched it change other people's lives. That got them away from their medicine. That got them back on their feet, off of their bed, out of their wheelchairs. That gave mobility back to their hands they couldn't use anymore. And there are people that will want to keep you from this. And all of their little minions who go around commenting on threads when people do similar things, and they're just trying to help people of like, man, like these tuning forks really helped me. This PEMF mat really helped me. This grounding sheet really helped me. This Rife machine really helped me. And you'll have people on there that's like, oh, they're selling snake oil and this is stupid. You're retarded if you believe it. And it's like they've never used it a day in their life. They've never heard a story. They've never seen someone that it changed their life. But they will sit there and tell you you're stupid for even remotely considering it. And that is what we are trying to be here. I am passionate about because it changed my life. I've watched it change people's lives that are close to me. And I thought to myself that I have a duty, that there's a single person out there that I can get this to and it changes their life. Then that's all I need, even if it's only one single person. So I hope today, as we end this transmission, that you guys will go in confidence about thinking of somebody that you know that was in a similar situation with modern medicine or pain or whatever it may be. And you're like, this might be able to really help them. And that you find the courage to be like, hey, man, like you should check out this website. This guy builds these machines that I think they might really be able to help you. You should see what they're offering. We offer 30-day money-back guarantees. We offer financing. We do everything we can to work with people. Right now, we are working with people who are working with the VA, and we are praying that we can at least get a test run with the VA where they buy 100 machines for veterans that can't afford them, but really, really, really fucking need them, and put them in their homes and let them try them. It will be an incredible thing. And hopefully when it works and it has incredible results, they'll start trying to do this for everybody they can, every veteran that they can. And that will give us the next phase of going into, after Medicaid and Medicare, to do the same thing with them. And the next thing you know, the world has changed. The world became a better place because now people are not living with chronic pain, inflammation, immobility, headaches, painful menstrual cycles, eczema, all these things that people lay in bed at night that keep them awake because they can't bear the discomfort. And modern medicine leaves them high and dry. So on that note, guys, I really want to thank you for being here with me today. I really enjoy the episodes where we get to talk about nothing but Rife machines. This is really fun. I love talking about them. As you can see, I just go and go and go and go. And we're going to do more of these. I hope you guys will send more people to the podcast, people that be interested about talking about Rife machines and other things. We will keep our heads on a swivel to see how things unfold, and we will let you know what we think, and we'll let you know how Rife machines fit into that future of what we think is going to unfold after we see such a dark time in our country and in our society. But just remember that a simple simple thank you, a simple, I want to help you. Go out of your way to help somebody. Go out of your way to talk about something uncomfortable. Go to that person you know is suffering and be like, hey, man, you should go listen to this guy. He might be able to help you. He builds these machines. He could help you. You know, go out of your way to help somebody. Go do something that's discomfort. The treasure you seek lies in the cave you fear to enter. And rather you think you can or you can't. You're absolutely right. So, guys, thanks for being here with us tonight. We look forward to having you back. I don't know if we're going to do one on Sunday, but we'll definitely be back Monday, and we will come at it swinging. So thanks for being here, and we look forward to talking to you guys in the future. Yeah. No, it's not touchscreen. I'm always touching that screen like, why? Why won't you?